Alright, good morning. This will most likely be the final follow-up video that I do for the LCSW clinical exam test prep video. I feel like we've done what we needed to do with it. So I'll be looking to bring it home with this video here, and we'd like to move forward and bring out a couple of the other projects that we've been working on. So I am very heavy on teaching in my test prep work that one should fully utilize the resources and the means that have historically been in place to develop and sharpen social workers to do the work to study for this test. I'm speaking of the mechanisms that were in place long before supervision or having a license or even taking the test became a requirement. One of those things being your supervision. Supervision wasn't always a requirement. In fact, it was something that was adopted as a requirement, but was in place as a standard practice. One to be a safeguard against an amateur, a young social worker causing damage to not only the clients, but also to the social work profession. Also as a professional courtesy, because being new to the field can be overwhelming. And so it was standard practice to take for a veteran social worker, one that's more seasoned, to take a young social worker under their wing. So I recommend to not allow your supervision to become just a formality, something on your calendar that you have to do, something that's burdensome, right? You want to fully utilize your supervision. Challenge your supervisor. Make them think. Call on their experience. And you should be looking for opportunities and scenarios in your line of work, your everyday line of work, to bring back to your supervisor to fully process, even if it's just for the validation and reassurance that you're on the right track. Observing the work that's being done in the field also helps you study for this test. Observation. Walking in the steps of a social worker, a veteran social worker that does really, really good work, that's been doing the work a long time. Ask questions. Observe how they navigate different hurdles and challenges in their cases. Witness their successes and the milestones that they've reached, as well as the failures. Your work experience. So I hit on this hard in the last video, and I stand by that, and I emphasize again. Your work experience is priceless, and doing a good job in your current role will prepare you for this test. Your current social work role and the associated job description, the policy and procedures that govern the role, they've been tailored and molded by laws, ethics, standardized best practices, precedents. So just by maxing out in your current social work role will prepare you for this test. And not only for the test, but will prepare you to do good work. pay closer attention to details and the different challenges that you have to tackle on a daily basis. Your education. So preparation for this test begins when you choose to enroll in an MSW program. It's not one of those things that you tackle all the different tasks that you have to do to get your degree and to be able to sit for the exam, then you start studying. It needs to be more fluid. So if you're on it enough to be watching this video and you're still in your MSW program, or you're still completing your practicum or your supervision requirement, you're going to be in good shape. Take your program seriously. Save your notes. Save your books. Buy your books. A couple other things. If your experience has been exclusive to the clinical setting, like an inpatient setting, very heavy on psychotherapy, you're going to want to expose yourself to other areas of social work because you may see some questions outside of the clinical realm. In the last video, I encouraged everybody to read the DSM, and I still do. I purchased, it's like a little trifold DSM cheat sheet. I utilize that as well. I also hit on reading the ASWB Code of Ethics. Also encourage everybody to read back through your HIPC books, Human Behavior in the Social Environment, because that's important information to know. So we want to start there in terms of preparing for the test. And then if you feel like you're still not ready in terms of sitting for the exam, then you start getting into enrolling in the test prep courses. I'm not totally against participating in the various different types of study preparation courses, but you have to go into those courses with a solid base. You can't go into these courses and you're just seeing the information for the first time. That's not what they're designed for. It's more or less supposed to be a refresher course and preparing you to overcome the different challenges associated with actually sitting down and navigating through the anxiety and the uncertainty of the actual test taking process. You know, you really have to be intentional about passing the test. I've never seen or heard of anyone going into the test ill prepared and accidentally passing the test. It doesn't work like that. And outside of simply just passing the test, you don't want to take on an LCSW position and you're not prepared for the workflow or the responsibility that comes along with it. It'll be really hard for you to stay afloat, and you'll be very vulnerable. And the reality is although there may be other professionals that are willing to help you, there's really not enough time for an individual or another professional or one of your coworkers to really sit down with you and spoon feed you the work. So really take the time to learn the art. Stay true to the social work profession and be respectful. Be respectful of the social workers that put in the work and pave the way for you to be able to do what you're doing.